Hi everyone, my name is Karina and welcome to Universe Soul, a channel about psychology and complex human nature. I'm very happy to see you here. Today I would like to talk to you about anxiety. What is anxiety, its causes, how can you overcome your anxiety? Many people might think that they're not really prone to anxiety, but unless you're a psychopath, I can assure you that you definitely experience some anxiety in your life. Maybe when you got married, or maybe when you gave important presentation at work, or maybe when your child was about to be born. However, of course, there's a degree to when this anxiety becomes a problem. This video will be useful for you, of course, if you have a history of anxiety, or it will be useful for people who know someone who has anxiety, but they're really confused, they're not sure what it's all about. So stay with me, and I hope that by the end of this video lots of things will become clearer to you. Let's go. Anxiety and fear are universal emotions that protect people from threats. However, when your anxiety and fear become excessive or inappropriate to potential or real danger, they can lead to increased distress and functional impairment. In such cases, a diagnosis of anxiety disorder may be relevant, depending on how your problem manifests itself. Anxiety is a feeling that overtakes your body and mind and is based on a question, what if? What if I fail this exam? What if he dumps me? What if I won't get that job? And so on. Anxiety disorders are quite debilitating and often chronic. But let's discuss first where it all began for us. From an evolutionary point of view, little time has passed since humans lived in caves and hunted wild animals. So our brains are still wired for threatening environment and looking out for danger. Otherwise, if people were oblivious to danger and fear, they would have been torn apart by nature forces and animals long time ago and would disappear from the face of this planet. Our urge to be on the lookout, to be ready for whatever is coming our way, is part of our basic biology. However, if then people were checking the territory, whether there is a pride of lions behind that bush or a steep cliff, today, even though we don't face constant nature dangers, we have other type of problems. They transformed. In this modern world, we worry about how to make money, how to survive in busy, crowded cities, how to pay our rent, how to become successful, how to find your soulmate, how to survive domestic abuse, how to stay healthy and young, and so on. Fight or flight response is a totally normal body reaction to immediate stress or danger. The sympathetic nervous system is activated and adrenaline is released in order to engage all your muscles for increased activity. Often we hear stories when people exhibited some kind of superpower to run or fight. This can be very appropriate if a tsunami is coming your way and you have to run or you have to fight with someone. However, this isn't very helpful in many other stressful situations not associated with a specific physical hazard. For example, when you would like to sing in front of your friends, but suddenly you freeze, you sweat, and you gasp for air like never before. That's when your anxiety becomes your enemy. What are the exact symptoms of anxiety? Mentally, that's uncontrollable thoughts, problems with concentration, or the opposite, increased vigilance. A sense of impending doom, irritability, the desire to escape from the situation, sometimes dissociation or derealization, feeling that you are not connected to your body or to this reality, feeling like you're going crazy. In addition to this mental congestion, physical symptoms may include sweating, heavy and rapid breathing, fast heart rate, blushing, dry mouth. Basically, this is a fight-or-flight response. Further, anxiety can provoke headaches, dizziness, fainting, stomach pains, nausea. In a more chronic type of anxiety disorder, symptoms can represent themselves as severe fatigue, lack of energy, sleep problems, changes in your appetite, someone eats more, someone eats less, loss of your sex drive. There are several different types of anxiety disorders. Panic attacks. This is a sudden severe anxiety and fear when you feel as if you're having a heart attack or you're about to stop breathing. Agoraphobia can be with panic attacks or without. This is fear of open, unfamiliar spaces or crowds of people, fear of not having a company with you, or fear of deserted squares and spaces. Some people with severe agoraphobia are afraid to go to a deserted beach, for example, or take a walk in the forest, which many people without anxiety issues consider very peaceful and mindful activity. Specific phobia, when you're afraid of some specific object or situation, for example, snakes or water, or crossing bridges or using lifts. Social phobia, you avoid meeting people, you hate public speaking, attending work parties. All this makes you very anxious. In case of social phobia, a person is afraid that they will be judged by others or somehow they'll embarrass themselves and everyone will laugh or gossip about them, that he or she becomes a loser among everyone. The difference with agoraphobia is that a person is afraid of relationships, interactions with people. It's not only about the fear of crowds, but also what these people might think about them. Generalized anxiety disorder, when you struggle to name the cause of your anxiety, or you're overly worried about different life situations. By the way, not necessarily negative ones, can be positive ones, such as weddings, moving to a better home, having a child. Fear of separation, when you're nervous about parting with someone, even for a short moment. It's more seen in children as separation anxiety, but is observed in adults too, especially if they somehow depend on that other person or they can't imagine their life without them. They're very codependent. Or possibly there was a situation when they almost lost them, like a car accident, for instance. There is also an unspecified anxiety disorder, when your symptoms don't fit the exact criteria of anxiety conditions. You have a mixture of conflicting or vague symptoms. Obsessive-compulsive disorder is also included in the category of anxiety disorders, when a person is prone to obsessions, for example, constantly thinking about germs, or whether the gas is turned off, or can they hurt someone without any particular reason, do something unpredictable, for instance, start masturbating on the subway, mixed with specific compulsions to decrease this anxiety, which is triggered by these complex thoughts. Everyone has their own rituals. Someone counts numbers, avoiding special ones like 13 or 4. Someone cleans their kitchen for 3 hours before making breakfast. Someone checks multiple times if the door is closed. Or they wash their jeans only on Fridays before midday to make sure that no one dies. The horror of OCD is that people realize that they're stuck, and they try to get out of this state, but they fail again and again, and it seems like you're going crazy. For example, in schizophrenia, a person doesn't immediately understand that something is wrong, whereas in OCD there is a full awareness. Health anxiety is frequently classified as part of OCD spectrum. Those who suffer from health anxiety are obsessed with the concept that they're currently or they will be seriously ill. They may get fixated on any form of bodily sensations and interpret them as signs of major illness. A prominent example is the dread of getting cancer. Body dysmorphic disorder. This is obsession with some kind of body defect even when there is nothing wrong. For example, a person believes their nose is too big, or their fingers are too short, or they are too hairy. The anxiety may involve wearing heavy makeup or certain clothes or accessories that conceal any perceived flaws. They may constantly be checking themselves in mirrors, or the opposite, avoiding them altogether. Michael Jackson is a prominent example. He was well known for having an extraordinary amount of cosmetic surgery to fix his appearance. His insecurities began in childhood when he was physically and emotionally abused by his dad, who often called him ugly. And suffering from acne as a teenager, burning his scalp during a commercial take, and later facing vitiligo only worsened his fragile state of mind. Trichotillomania, when a person can't stop themselves from pulling their hair out. They may take off hair from the head or other parts of the body, such as eyebrows or eyelashes. It's not just 2-3 hair, but a significant amount to cause bald patches. Skin picking disorder, again, not just light picking, but real harm to the layers of your own skin, especially when anxiety is very strong. Hoarding, when a person collects lots of things regardless of the value and finds it difficult to throw them away, even when it's an obvious rubbish. Post-traumatic stress disorder is also an anxiety disorder, when a person experienced some kind of traumatic event. Can be one, for example, plane crash, or several, like sexual abuse in childhood for many years. In the past decade, there has been an increased interest in research on anxiety disorders due to wide recognition of its burden and consequences. Severe anxiety can put your life on hold, no doubt. When people get too anxious, it interferes with their work, relationships, and their dreams. The presence of anxiety disorder is also a risk factor for the development of other psychological additional problems. Often depression develops parallel to anxiety, or substance abuse, often as a form of self-medication to calm down. Anxiety disorders refer to so-called complex genetic diseases, characterized by the interplay between environmental factors and genetic predisposition. However, we haven't yet determined 100% whether anxiety is due to the fact that we share some genes, or because we learn specific ways of thinking and behaving from our parents and other family members as we grow up. The classic treatment for anxiety disorders is medication and psychotherapy. But sometimes it takes time to find which treatment is best for you. Many people quit their treatment because they see no improvement. But in fact, they just got wrong medication or wrong type of therapy. Maybe they didn't connect to their therapist, and that was neglected by the health system. And the alternative to see someone else instead wasn't offered. Of course, there is more freedom when you see someone privately, but not everyone can afford it. In general, only 50% of people with mental problems seek help. The rest are afraid, ashamed, they don't want to be a burden to someone, even a burden to doctors, or they think that their problems aren't very serious and will go away on their own. When a person comes to a psychologist for the first time, they're already 7 years late, meaning they should have asked for help 7 years ago. I really hope that in the future the entire global mental health system will be based on prevention of mental problems in the first place, not on the treatment when a person already has a severe progression of their condition. Psychotherapy usually focuses on teaching you specific skills that allow you to gradually return to activities that you avoided because of your anxiety. The crucial thing here is the resolution of your main inner conflict, of course. What causes your anxiety? This is done by exploring your mental chatter, your thought patterns, working with your reactions to fear, replacing your distorted perceptions with more positive ones based on reality, increasing your self-confidence that you can cope with your irrational fears. Exposure therapy, for example, teaches you to encounter an object or situation you fear in small steps. If you're afraid of mice, it will imply to showing you a picture of Tom and Jerry first, then a picture of a mouse drawn by a 3-year-old, then giving you a fluffy mouse toy, progressing to being in a room with someone who holds a mouse in their hands, and eventually you being able to feed it and not passing out. In OCD, there is a thought-action fusion. It's when you believe that simply thinking about an action has the same weight as actually doing that action. If you imagine killing a child, You may think that it's the same as the real murder, which makes you feel, of course, inadequate, tense, like a horrible person. And your anxiety only goes up and a vicious circle begins. So in therapy, it's important to break that chain. In general, reducing anxiety disorders is almost impossible without relaxation and meditation skills. They're the first step to preventing and controlling hyperventilation, to understanding when you breathe too often or too shallow. Are you always in a hurry? Or are you working too hard or too much? Try to slow down. You will accomplish more by staying calm and working at a reasonable pace. On a deeper spiritual plane, anxiety and fear are triggered by your mistrust in the course of life and its natural process. Also, you may be paying too much attention to other people's emotions because you hold yourself responsible for their happiness or unhappiness. As a result, you have developed an excessive sensitivity in yourself to always be on guard and prevent all kinds of misfortunes. Many highly emotional, intuitive, sensitive, creative people suffer from anxiety because they easily observe the energy around them. And in case they don't realize how receptive they are, that they tend to trap other people's energetical junk from their environment, they become vulnerable to uncontrollable anxiety. When life throws a massive change at you, it also instantly changes energy within you. The control is not in your hands anymore. It's as someone else decides what you should be going through. So tension begins to accumulate in your cells, and if your anxiety is chronic, this clutter piles up day after day inside your body, mixed with emotions such as low mood, hopelessness, despair, fear of changing your life, fear of making mistakes. Your energy doesn't flow anymore. It's blocked. The universe always gives us what we're focused on. If you're preoccupied with some kind of a problem or anxiety, you don't trust the infinitive source, the laws of attraction will interpret your fear as if you're enjoying it. This is what you want. It doesn't matter whether it's a negative or positive experience. It will give you life on the vibration you're on. So the vibration of fear, anxiety brings even more situations in which you become even more anxious. You need to change your vibration to peace, calmness, and trust, to feeling of being safe, believing you deserve good, free from danger life, even when the environment challenges you. Those people who worry a lot, deep down in their hearts, believe that they deserve punishment, not love. Every person on earth at birth has an unconditional right to be happy and feel abundant. But when a person is born in an oppressed environment, they begin to subconsciously observe limited beliefs of the parents or other relatives, teachers, friends, that life equals suffering, and probably they have bad karma, they deserve it. But karma can be changed. Anyone can advance to a more tranquil and prosperous level. In therapy, that would imply working with your subconscious and your perception of who you are beyond your human form. Anxiety is definitely an imbalance between your body, consciousness, and your soul. Many psychological problems begin when a person is on the verge of not living their full life. When you live your life as if you're stuck in the revolving doors, collecting trauma after trauma, a combination of many traumas, of course your reality becomes a complete inner dissatisfaction with what surrounds you, hatred for yourself because you aren't able to escape it for some reason. As I already mentioned, disbelief that you deserve love, disbelief that you are able to cope, disbelief that you weren't born to endlessly be in pain. It's like you have fallen into a dark, damp well. Do you know that feeling? The way out is complete transformation and restructuring your inner world to accept peace and harmony, a sense of security, trust in the universe. Anxiety is just a compass to connect you to your higher self. When it happens, anxiety and fear will subside. Live in the present, not the past, not the future. Notice what takes you away from being present. It will help you make changes in life that you really want. Ask yourself, are you too focused on future events that haven't happened yet or might never happen? Are you unsure of your goals and direction in life? Goals take time and patience. It's equally important to understand that taking a small step today will help make those goals a reality. Procrastination or anxiety or feeling unhappy with yourself about where you are will only increase your anxiety. So accept where you are, but don't block the idea that your life can and will get better. When you live too much in the future, you may miss out on the wonderful opportunities you create for yourself and your loved ones here and now. Listen to yourself. What brings you the greatest joy and deepest satisfaction? When you dream about your ideal job or some happy circumstances or fulfilling relationships, these are your highest values. Your goal in life is to be the best version of yourself and follow the call of your soul. To achieve this, it's important to understand what really matters to you by defining your core values. Examining your values will help you understand where you can devote more time to things that bring you meaning and happiness. When your goals in life align with your values, you will naturally feel more focused, motivated, and less anxious. An example of personal values can be loyalty, truth, challenge, kindness, justice, humor, growth, recognition, success. Say yes to yourself. There's nothing wrong with saying yes to yourself, your life, your goals and dreams. The decision to make your happiness a priority is good, and you shouldn't feel guilty. If you're energetically stressed or exhausted, take time out to reflect. Where do you invest your time and energy? Are you true to your own or someone else's dreams and goals? Take a closer look and set clear boundaries and let others know where they are. Tell them that you choose yourself first. When you say yes to yourself and you improve your life, you become a better person for those around you, and actually you inspire them to do the same. When anxiety appears, especially chronic anxiety, see how you actually feel emotionally. When we're so busy running through life, we sometimes don't realize how it damages us physically, mentally, and emotionally. Learn to take care of yourself. Maybe it's taking a bath or starting a daily yoga or meditation practice, journaling, massage, hiking, fishing, painting, music. Know that your body is powerful. It's a massive force that needs fuel to feel whole and balanced. I also would like to add that don't be afraid to admit that you need help. Seeking help doesn't mean that you're crazy. It also doesn't mean that you will be dependent on psychotherapy, medication, or people around you for the rest of your life. That moment will eventually arrive when your inner peace will be much stronger than any anxiety waves, when you will ride that anxiety wave like a professional surfer. That's my ultimate wish for you, to be free in the ocean of life. For now, I wish you a fantastic day. Take care of yourself. Bye.